Okay, hi everybody, welcome back. We're going to continue our series on the Recovery Toolbox. I want to start off by reading from the language of letting go, and it actually is today's reading, so it's pretty neat. Sometimes in life, things happen too fast. You barely solve one problem and two new problems surface. We're feeling great in the morning, but we're submerged in misery by nightfall. Every day we face interruptions, delays, changes, and challenges. We face personality conflicts and disappointments. Often when we're feeling overwhelmed, we can't see the lessons in these experiences. One simple concept can get us through most stressful of all times. It's called gratitude. We learn to say thank you for these problems and feelings. Thank you for the way things are. I don't like this experience, but thank you anyway. Force gratitude until it becomes habitual. Gratitude helps us stop trying to control outcomes. It is the key that unlocks positive energy in our life. It is a wonderful thing that turns problems into blessings and the unexpected into gifts. Today, I will choose to be grateful. I will start the process of turning today's pain into tomorrow's joy. I really want to read that tonight because I find one of the most beautiful gifts I've ever experienced comes from some of the Buddhist traditions, and I love them. The beautiful gift is that sometimes we have to be able to experience struggle and suffering to be able to discover a sense of joy. The two go together. And one of the things we're going to talk about tonight, because what I chose to do, I talked about the Recovery Toolbox. I'm going to place some slogans and tools into that box tonight. But I wanted to do it connected around the first three steps of our program. I truly believe the first three steps are fundamentally what I call the fundamental steps, the basic steps, the foundation steps. And they're important because they contain, just like the Serenity Prayer, all the tools and things we need for our journey. And the toolbox basically allows us to take these different slogans, these little sayings, and they're small, but powerful. And I've learned over the years that if I can just take one slogan a day, and it's interesting because I put together close to 60-some slogans, both from AA, Al-Anon, some of the ones I put together myself. And as I mentioned to you earlier, you can find them on the website. If you go to Vince's Corner, you go way down to the bottom where it says additional resources. The slogans are there. You can download them. What I love about them so powerfully is, and one of the things I want to do, one of my projects, I'm going to go to Home Depot and get myself a little toolbox. And then I'm going to take some cards. And I'll get somebody to help me with this, but to put a slogan on every card. And then every day, like my sponsor of years ago used to do, just reach in and grab a slogan. And that's my project for today, to work on that slogan. Because I really believe that we experience the gift of recovery for the little things we do day in and day out, not the gigantic things. And so I've learned over and over again that all of us, no matter who we are, no matter where we are, no matter what we do, we could take just one of these slogans with us every day, carry it, and let it be kind of our mantra for the day. And as a result, then it gives us fuel, and it gives us a way in which we can look at the things we're working on in the course of the day. The second step teaches us something very beautiful and is connected to the first step. And so I put together some words. And these words, I think, are kind of the formula for what I call the spiritual foundation of our journey, the spiritual foundation of life. And those words are very simple: acceptance, faith, and trust. Most powerful word in our recovery books that comes from the big book is the word acceptance. I often refer to it as the ultimate spiritual word. When you come to acceptance, you come to peace. And acceptance is not intellectual. When you come to acceptance in your spirit and in your heart and in your gut, yeah, acceptance can be physical, emotional, spiritual, all different areas of life. I come to that point where I'm able to look at life and realize the fact, this is who I am. This is my personhood, and be able to embrace it and to embrace the journey of life that I'm on. Each one of us is individual. Each one of us is a process. And so I love that concept of a slogan. Everything in life is in process. We have to learn to trust the process. The process works. There's a problem, though. Many of us have a tendency to get in the way of the process because we try to organize it. And the big thing is we try to control it. And I've said this about 58,000 times. The two ultimate diseases we have to work on are control and fear. They hold us down, they bog us down. The slogans help us to lift them up. One of the most powerful slogans we put in the toolbox today is that everything's in God's hands and in God's time. We use the word God, and God has a lot of different meanings. And the program has a lot of wisdom. It says the God of your understanding, a higher presence, whatever you choose to call that. But it's almost like you have to realize the fact there's something more than just my humanness. There's a spirit, there's an energy, there's something that guides me on the course of my journey. We have names for that. We call it your conscience, your inner voice, that thing that speaks to you, and sometimes you never know where it's coming from. It's also based around faith. You know, you've heard these terms so many times. Faith can move mountains. Faith can do the impossible. And faith is something that we have to truly feel deep down inside. It's amazing how things will happen. You know, I look back in the beginning of Starting Point, and I realize faith was such a gift. I'm grateful for it today. It's almost like we walked into that first building not knowing what the heck we were doing. We had no idea at all. And yet everything came together. Everything started to happen. People arrived. I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd meet some of the people I'd meet that would come through the doors. A guy from Kensington, from different parts of the city, came down and said, I heard about this, I heard about that. How can I help? And I really believe that the simple little things bring beautiful things into our life. That's why another slogan that comes from faith is less is better. Keep it simple. Easy does it. The most famous of all slogans. Take your time. Slow down. One of the hardest things in life to do is just to slow down and go with the flow. I love that one. Just go with the flow. And you know what's so beautiful about that? The flow will take you. Isn't it amazing? You go swimming and lifeguards tell you, if you get caught in the riptide or something, they tell you to go with it, don't fight it. That's life. We have to learn this. Too many times we're fighting and battling. I know we go through a lot of struggle. We go through a lot of pain. We look at the world out there. We look at the craziness and the stuff that goes on. But sooner or later, we have to look at that craziness and find the goodness and find the beauty in it. All the material things, they'll come to an end. Or something will take their place. I mean, you look back in history, you see the Roman Empire, the Greek Empire, the Egyptian Empire, all these beautiful things you look back in history, and they're all supposed to be the be or end all of everything. And eventually from the inside, they crumbled. The foundations fell. And our program needs its solid foundations. The slogans, the steps, these are our foundations. Unless we respect them and honor them and treat them in a very special way, the foundations will fall apart. And that's where we go back to basics constantly. Another great slogan that comes with the second and third step. Because that second step is faith, that third step is trust. Let go and let God of your understanding. Let go. Let God be in charge. Now, I've learned a long time ago two of those powerful words in the English language. And it took me a long time to be able to say them. And I'm getting better at it. The words are, help me. Help me. It's okay to ask for help. Today I went into panic, because, everybody tells me I'm Mr. Zoom, okay? But Mr. Zoom doesn't really know a lot about computers. So today, Zoom decided that I needed a new password. And I panicked. And of course, what did I do? I yelled, Loretta. And she came running down, and we fooled around with it and went crazy and nuts. And I had a client at 2:00 on Zoom, and we got it working 1 minute to 2. See how God works? It's amazing, isn't it? It's almost like right before we're supposed to start, it arrived. We have to come to believe, that step says. We have to be able to realize the fact this is really what it's all about. But the hardest part about recovery and everything in life is another great word. It's part of a slogan. Patience. Everything happens in time, in God's time, when it's supposed to. There's those other two great spiritual words. I'm learning more and more about spirituality as I get older. Supposed to. Why are we who we are? Because we're supposed to be. Why are we going through what we're going through? Because we're supposed to. The secret is, am I willing to accept it, embrace it, learn from it, grow from it, and move forward? But that takes time. Let me tell you a story. When I was a priest, one of the prisons I used to visit is Trenton State Prison. And when I was up there, I remember a gentleman I met quite a long time ago. I'm going back a lot of years now. But anyway, he was serving a life term in prison, which meant he wasn't getting out. Him and I had some nice talks together, and he was a pretty angry, belligerent. Finally, after a long period of time, and through the grace of God and through AA, he went to meetings inside the prison. He came to a point in his life, and he said to me one day, he said, Vince, I got to tell you something. I'm here because I'm supposed to be here. I'm here because I did what I did. I regret what I did. And now I'm paying the penalty for it. And he says, you know what? I've got a choice. It took me a long time to be able to say this. And I'm going to thank you for encouraging me. He said, but it took me a long time, and it took AA and a lot of people to help me to realize something. I have a choice. I can sit around and feel sorry for myself and beat myself up some more, or I can take what I've learned and I'm able to go to other inmates and be able to treat them with respect and honor. And maybe I can plant some seeds and help somebody else. Maybe I can give back for what I did by helping another person and helping in a different direction. That to me, I see that as a miracle. And I see miracles all the time. But what's interesting? Sometimes we have to make mistakes. We got to screw up. We got to go down, and then we got to come back up. And that's why we can't stay stuck in negativity. And negativity will bring positive things and beautiful things into our life if we're open to them. But we have to be able to learn two things. One is keep an open mind. Keep growing, keep learning. Keep an open mind is a powerful part of step 2 and step 3. I got to be open to God's will. I got to be open to the journey. I got to be open to life. I got to be open to where it leads us. And always to remember something which is so important, that we're not in charge. That's a tough one, man. Be able to accept the fact that you're not in charge. Somebody else is running this show. Oh, I got a ticket. Just like you, I got a round trip ticket too. The other end, I get punched someday. Congratulations. It's a round trip ticket. I'm on that train. I used to love that because I realized today it's like We're on this ride. It'll take us to where we're supposed to go. There's lessons to be learned along the way. But we have to be able to learn to let go, to be open to new things and new directions. We have to realize the importance, of realizing the fact that everything in life is teachable. They're teachable moments. So many times, I'll tell you another story. Years ago in Philadelphia, when I first started in recovery, a good friend of mine, Norm, way back then, he'd take me to a meeting in Center City, Philadelphia. It was called the mustard seed. I always talk about the mustard seed. What I love about that meeting is it's attended at 1 o'clock in the afternoon by businessmen and by street people. And many of the businessmen would bring 2 lunches, one for them and one for the street person sitting next to them. And they share. It's called recovery, by the way. But the businessman used to say to me, the reason why I bring that lunch every day, why I sit next to the person I sit next to every day, Norm used to say to me, but for the grace of God, that could be me. I will never forget that. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful I am where I am. I'm grateful I'm on my journey. I don't want to forget. And I thank God for that gentleman sitting next to me or that lady sitting next to me. Maybe they don't always smell that good, but they're reminding me what life really is all about. They're reminding me of the gift of gratitude. That's why I want to do that reading tonight, to be grateful. And I've learned in this program the importance of waking up every day with an attitude of gratitude. Go to bed every night with an attitude of gratitude, to be open. That 10th step teaches me to look at the day, to be able to realize what I'm grateful for, the things I've experienced today, the people I've met, situations I've gone through. And the beautiful part about it is it opens up so many doors, so many new directions with gratitude. Even sometimes to be grateful for things that maybe are hurting, your pain, you're going through struggle. It's all part of it. Gratitude. I will never forget, as long as I live, a good friend of mine. He's a paraplegic now, but I knew him before he was a paraplegic, before his car accident. He was mangled up pretty bad. And now he's a pretty neat guy. In fact, he's a psychologist. And I love the guy. I get to spend time with him. In fact, he was one of the speakers at one of our anniversary celebrations. I love him because, he said to me, he said, Vince, that was a horrible thing that happened to me. It took me a long time to work through it. But, I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd be able to say I'm grateful. Because this has opened up new doors for me and new directions for me. I've been able to experience new things. I even was able to find a girlfriend. My life has changed dramatically. It's unbelievable. And yet he's gone through so much pain so many times. But he says, Vince, I'm learning if I can embrace the pain, I can embrace the joy. That's a hard one for me or for anybody. I know that. As we go through different things in the course of our life, we have to realize that the journey of life, another great thing to put in that toolbox, is remember every day, if we have gratitude and if we're open, you make a little bit of progress. It might be that much, but it's a progress. No perfection, just progress. Progress, not perfection. That's what life is all about. Believe me, you're never going to get perfect. I mean, get them by all the anti-aging creams and all that kind of stuff and everything else. And guess what? You're still going to get old. You're still going to move on. You're still going to get aches and pains. You're going to go through struggles. It's amazing. You're going to end up having these lanterns up here. You lose the stuff on top. Charlie knows because you can see the glare. But the problem is we all have these little glare things going on top of us all the time. It's the fun part of life. It's how it's supposed to be, right? And so the process goes on. We try to hide it, but at the same time, it's there. Don't worry, Mark, you'll get there. Don't worry. But the bottom line is it's all part of the process we have to go through. Walt knows what I'm talking about. But it's the line we have to realize is how special this process is. And so that step teaches me faith. It teaches me trust. It teaches me to let go, to turn my will and my life over to a God of my understanding. Your will, not mine. You say that every day, every day, every day. And then you know what we do? Try to take it back. Isn't it amazing how we are as human beings? I'm giving it to you, God. I'm giving you my will. Oh, well, wait a minute. How about if I just do this? Come on. We're always bargaining. I want to get the kick out of that. The bottom line is we're human beings. What can I tell you? To say that prayer every day. Your will, not mine. That's why I know that God has a sense of humor. And he loves doing this. I know it. I put that thing down there. I said, you know, it's so beautiful about it that sometimes God laughs. It keeps some of them going too. Him or she, whatever it is. Bottom line is I've learned over the years the powerful part of that. Every morning I say the same prayer before I leave for the gym. And I'll continue to say it. I always say, God, thank you for the day. Thank you for this morning. Thank you for my prayers, my meditations. Thank you for giving me the grace to put something on Facebook today, to share something with people. But before I go, I just want to say, remember, you're the boss. You're the employer. I'm the employee. Whatever you got in store for me today, bring it on. And I hope and I pray I'll be able to handle it. And boy, it brings some really weird stuff onto me sometimes. And yet, you know, they're some of the greatest teachers on the face of this earth. It's amazing. You come right down to it. It brings sad. Sometimes I experience sadness. I talk to somebody who's lost somebody in an overdose. Different things begin to happen. That's why I always walk into that lecture hall, the memorial wall. I walk around and look at names. I look at the place. I look at it in gratitude. And be grateful. Because you never know. It's all part of the journey. You know, when you get to be my age too, you begin to realize a lot of people I've been connected to over the years in recovery and everything. A lot of them are gone. Many of them are on that wall. I guess I get reminded every so often, you know, I'm probably going to join it someday. I guess we all will. It's all part of it. That's okay. Do the best you can do just for one day, for today. Stay in the present, stay in the moment. But don't forget to turn your will and your life over. I'm codependent like the rest of us. I got a wonderful scheduling book. It's pretty. Like everything's scheduled for the day. And God, with a sense of humor, screws it up every day. Every day he changes it. And sometimes I look at him and say, what are you doing? What are you doing? I keep thinking God's Italian, so I keep trying to give him one of these. And yeah, it's the same old thing, going back and forth in the process with it. You know, I learned over the years to have my own sense of humor, to laugh at my own life. And we wake up in the morning, don't forget, wake up with gratitude, go in the bathroom, look in the mirror, and you need gratitude. It's all part of it. Gratitude's everywhere in the course of our journey. And gratitude is the gift. It's a beautiful part of the process we go through. And one of the things I've learned, one of the tools to say to God every day, I can't handle it, God. I got to give it to you. Please take over. I run into a lot of situations in the work that I do and people I meet where I can't handle this. I got to just say a prayer and give it to God. The situations and people I've got to give to God every day. You know, sometimes you try to get somebody, you know, the old adage, I can lead the horse to water, put his head in the water, but I can't make him drink the water. And sometimes you feel like you're a failure. And yet, no. You just plant the seeds and let go. Let go, let God. Let somebody else be in charge. It'll go where it's supposed to go, when it's supposed to go. That's part of the process. And that's why that step is so powerful. Is please give the gift of your will and your life over the care of God as you understand that God. Have a sense of faith, a sense of trust. Believe. And if you believe, everything will find its way. You know, I'm going to tell you, this is something happened today. I do all the intakes, and when the evaluations come in, I do all the assignments to the counselors and everything. And I had about 4 of them on my desk today. And I looked at the 4 of them and I said, oh boy, where am I going to get these people? Where am I going to put these people? Because I have to deal with insurances and all that kind of stuff and everything else. So I put them in a pile, put my hands on them, and I said, okay, God, these are yours. Okay, you're in charge of these 4. Let me find somebody for them. And it's amazing. One of the counselors walked up to me, a particular counselor that rarely ever has an opening, walked in the door and said, hey, Vince, I got an opening. Do you have somebody for me? I looked at the list and I said, hey, yeah, here you are. I went out on the outside and I was trying to find somebody for somebody else. I made a phone call to another individual in person, one of my counselors. And I said, I have this 12-year-old kid. I have to find a therapist for them. She said, not a problem. I'll take care of it. Put the stuff in my box. And all of a sudden, the 4 of these all found a home. You know why they found a home? Not because of me. Because they were given. They were given over my higher power. Because of faith and because of trust. And being open to realize the fact there's a solution. They'll go where they're supposed to go when they're supposed to go. And they went. Honestly, a part of me looked at them and said, oh my God, what am I going to do with these 4 people? I was really kind of confused early this morning. And then I learned, I'm learning it. It's hard because, there's a part of me, this crazy head of mine, who wants to figure this whole thing out, angle it out. Here's the Italian in me. Let me find an angle. Let me try to fix. No, just put your hands on them and say, come on, God, I need your help. I need your help. Now, will it come right away? Maybe not. But it'll come. And I'm learning over and over again the faith in that. Because Starting Point was founded on faith. It was founded on belief. It was founded on the simple things of recovery. And it's amazing how everything just kind of finds its way and works its way. And because I tell people all the time, they say, are you the director of this program? I said, no. I said, God's in charge. I don't run it. Higher power runs this thing. I don't. Loretta knows what I mean. We got Michael the Archangel. We got all these people running around the hallways all the time. It's totally amazing. And I'm realizing it over and over again, faith and trust and being open and let the process happen where it's supposed to happen. And that started a long time ago on the streets of South Camden. Billy knows what I'm talking about. I still can't believe half the things we got done, the things that we did, right, Bill? And we didn't have finances or money or stuff to that effect. We got it all done. It's just amazing how it works. And I'm learning that beautiful principle, that second and third step. Get out of the way. Live these slogans. Turn it over. Just remember, we plan, we try to organize. God laughs, and then it goes where it's supposed to go. It's amazing, isn't it? I love all this. I can't help it. I get excited. Because I realize that faith and trust, and just to try the best of your ability every day to wake up with an attitude of gratitude, an attitude of humility. Humility simply means there's something new I can learn. To admit you don't know something. If you don't know it, you don't know it today. I don't know anything about how to set a computer up. That's her department, not mine. So I screamed at her, I gotta get over here. I needed help. And so I got help. Put it together. So all of a sudden I'm realizing more and more, we ain't got to do it by ourselves anymore. Let's stop all that nonsense. We're part of a community. We're part of a world in which we live together. We have to share with each other, connect with each other. We need one another. We need to interact with each other. And everyone's got a purpose on this earth. You might say, well, really? Yep, everyone. And we look at the world around us and we wonder sometimes. But that's because we as human beings, we have a tendency to screw a lot of things up. And I was joking the other day. I said, now we're going to go to the moon and screw the moon up. It's totally amazing. Now we'll do something crazy to it. Bottom line is we have to just learn to keep it simple, to stay where we are, to do what we have to do. And just remember something which is so important. Remember the spiritual words: acceptance, surrender, faith, trust, supposed to. All these beautiful spiritual words, they're all interconnected. And remember, every day, pick that little thing up that says supposed to. So whatever's supposed to be today is going to be. So therefore, I'm going to walk the journey, try to accept the things I experience, realize they're going to change. Everything's always changing. It's amazing. You might start out with one plan, come up with another plan, another plan comes up after that, another plan comes up after that. So what? Just say you're in the journey. You're on the journey. You're on the journey with gratitude. And also have a concept of acceptance and love. I believe the greatest energy on the face of this earth is the energy of love. It heals. It is the great healer. It's sort of an attitude of love. And just be able to greet somebody, just say to somebody, I always like to end everything I say with prayers and love. And give love, give the gift out. We have a tradition at our home group meeting each week, our 2 home group meetings. Even though it's on Zoom, we have to give everybody a hug. So we put our arms out. Come on, put your arms out, guys. Let's get a nice big hug. Come on, Mark. Get him out there and bring him in. Give yourself a nice big hug. Okay, and then pass it out to everybody else. Isn't that great? We're going to start doing that every time we do this. It's fun. Because we can need the hug. It's the whole part of it. You know, I love that because so many times in life we forget what life really is all about. It's the little things that mean a lot. It's the most powerful things. And these steps, that first, second, third step, bring all this together. And it gives us the greatness and the beauty of what life is. Yes, there's darkness, there's struggle, there's hurt, there's pain, there's joy, there's celebration. It's almost like we have this mixture, this great big mixture of everything. It's called life. You got to have it all. It's not going to always be perfect and wonderful and great. I get that from people all the time. They say, when do I reach the plateau? I say, what plateau? When do I get to the point where everything will be fantastic, wonderful, great? And I say, about 50 years after you're dead. Don't worry about it. You can get there. You've got to have a little up, a little down, a little struggle, and back and forth. It's a mixture. And that's where these 3 steps give us the tools of recovery, the foundations of recovery, the basics that bring things out. So next week, what I want to do is bring this whole toolbox together. I have a bunch of other tools slogans and tools I want to be able to give to you to realize the fact that we have all these gifts. So do me a favor. Do yourself a favor, not me. Get a toolbox. It can be a cigar box. I don't care. Put some of these slogans in there. You pick one out every day. What's my slogan for today? But for the grace of God. That's one slogan for today. Do another one. I'm just going to go point to the paper for a slogan. We see what I come up with. We playing, God laughs. That's amazing, isn't it? It's almost like we need to be shook up a little bit each day. You know how we worry about how things are going to be? I'm going to do this tomorrow. Will it work? Will it work? But guess what? Go to sleep. Stop worrying. Get up, do the best you can do, and go to sleep. So I'm going to close by simply saying, listen to those first 3 steps. Try to have an attitude of gratitude, an attitude of humility, an attitude of acceptance, an attitude of love. You put that whole package together, and we have a sense of who we are as people. So my prayer tonight, I pray and ask the higher power, the God of our understanding, to be our guide, to be our strength in all that we do. So let us pray. God, we come before you in prayer. We ask your guidance and we ask your direction. We ask you to open up our hearts to listen, to learn, and know that you are our guide. Help us to ask for your guidance and your direction every day. Because we know if we ask, you will send messengers and teachers into our life. Teach us to be open to them. Be open to our guides. For every person we meet in the course of every day is a new teacher, a new guide, a new part of your journey. So respect one another. Respect the people around. Be open to learn. Be open to grow. Be open to new things. But above all, help me, God, to accept who I am, to accept what I can do and what I can't do, to be able to ask for help, guidance, and direction. Because I know if I ask, you will seek a way to give things to me. We come here in gratitude today. We come here in love. We thank you for all the gifts you've given us. We thank you for your love. We ask this in your name every day. Amen.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.